Hello, Christine Sloan Stoddard here for the Toronto Business Journal. My guest is Professor Suzy Basile, professor at the UQAT School of Indigenous Studies and chairholder of the Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Women's Issues. Welcome, Professor.
Hoi, hi.
Well, hello. Professor Basile is leading a research initiative on the forced sterilization of Indigenous women in Quebec. Professor, could you talk about the basis for this research and what led you to it?
Well, first of all, the issue is pretty well documented all across Canada. We can confirm by the literature that forced sterilizations occur in all provinces and territory in Canada. So we don't have any reason to think that it didn't happen in Quebec either. So this is why we decided about 2 years ago to start a reflection about a research project on the issue.
Excellent. What are the medical procedures involved in forced sterilization?
So far, as from what we know today, because we just started the research, right? But if we look at all the other cases in Canada, most of the time, women will have get a lutubation, sorry for the word in English, without giving their full consent to it. It will happen when, right after, I should say, the delivery of a baby, or right after an abortion in certain cases. So this is the case that we heard so far. From what we know in Quebec, from what we heard, I should say, it's pressure to agree to get litigation, or in other cases, the intervention happened without the consent of the women. They don't even know that they have been sterilized. They find out years after when they're trying to get more children, and then it doesn't work. They go to see a doctor, and then they find out that they have been sterilized years back. So this is what we're trying to document.
Wow, that's horrible. That actually leads perfectly into my next question, which is how might a woman know or suspect that she has been forcibly sterilized?
Well, that's the thing. Most of the time, they don't have children for many years, and they had before, and suddenly they cannot have any more babies. And then some of them will consult physicians to find out what's going on, and they will be told that they have been sterilized years back. So, and the other thing is for many of them, they also got a lot of pressure from the medical system to agree to finally get a sterilizations. They will be told something like, you have too many children. If you don't agree, we will take them away from the youth protection system. You are so irresponsible. You cannot take care of your children in a proper way as Indigenous women. So they get these words and these pressure to agree to get a sterilizations, and most of them don't want to, but it's the kind of comments that they get sometimes.
How sad. So how does forced sterilization violate a person's autonomy and humanity?
Well, it's all coming from the consent part of it. Huh? If you want to get such an intervention in your life for any good and personal reason, it's okay. I mean, it's a right we have. But in the other cases, when you're not even asked, or if you're forced to give your consent, example, women were saying that I was in delivering work, and they were coming up with the paper and make me sign it on that very crucial time, when you're very busy because you're delivering a baby. It's not the right time to push to get a signature. And the other thing is the litigation is not an emergency act. It's not like a heart attack when you have to intervene right away. So it's a kind of intervention that can wait, that that could be done weeks and months later. So it's questionable the way that women were being pushed to sign or to give their consent.
Terrible. So you already touched on this a little bit, but why do you believe Indigenous women specifically have been targeted in this human rights violation?
But we know that Indigenous women have been targeted by many policies and many programs in Canada to get a control on their body and on their mind as well. And one of the way to go ahead with the colonization system was to take control over the people, of course, but also over the land and resources. And one of the way to make sure that there would be less and less Indigenous people was by the control of their reproduction system. So, and the other part of it will be that for a long, long time, many many people thought that Indigenous people were irresponsible. They were not able to take care of themselves and of their families. So, and they will also cost a lot of money to the states because we don't have a proper economic and social community life. So all these reasons together will be the reasons why Indigenous women were targeted more than other women in the country and around the world as well. That phenomena have happened in other countries as well.
Definitely. So there is a misconception that colonization is a thing of the past, that it is deep, dark history that no longer happens. Can you talk about the timing of this research, this specific initiative, and why it's still relevant?
I will speak for the Quebec part of it because it's different from the other regions of Canada. We think that elders, but those women that we call elders today may have faced sterilizations in their past, maybe by going through the hospital for the TB medicines or treatments. But this is just a question we still have to investigate. The other thing is we know that many women got pressure, like I said earlier, in the last, 5, 10, 20 years. So since 2 years, we have been thinking like we have to investigate this issue furthermore. And we set up a provincial committee last fall involving 9 Indigenous and non-Indigenous organizations in Quebec. And we decided to go ahead with a research asking these women to contact us and share their story with us. So we started this week and we should go ahead until the end of the summer, sometime at the end of August. And if needed, we will give more times, of course, for the data collection part of that research. And then 2 women will be on the phone and on all the other ways to, get in touch with these women. And after all, the data analysis will be done through the fall and next winter. So hopefully from next year, we should have a portrait of the situation.
Yeah, wonderful. So you are asking Indigenous women to share their testimonials as part of the research initiative. So how can they get in touch with your team if that is still an option? And what is your timeline exactly?
We started this Monday, actually, this week, and then we set up a website, of course, with a free phone line, also with an email address where we can get contacted. And we also have our networks, like the 9 organizations I was talking about are all very well connected into the Indigenous communities of Quebec. Most of them are part of the governance of those communities. So the message should go through by, of course, social media. Today, it's a very good tool to reach as many people as possible, but also by the radio station. We will have a postcard sent into all of the mailboxes of each of the community, Indigenous community in Quebec in the next few weeks. We will have a bilingual video that will run on the social media to invite women to call us, to contact us. And we also have working closely with the Indigenous and women's associations that exist in Quebec. So they are the first, organizations in the front line. So we are, and we talk about this project since many months now. So we hope that it will reach the right women, the families, and the communities in the best way.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Professor. Christine Sloan Stoddard signing off.